Be careful with the fireplace. You could really burn yourself doing that. Oh, right. That doesn't matter for you, does it? Of course I know of you. Everyone knows of you. You've been wanted by governments with both pure and maleficent intentions. There have been entire projects formed just to study you. Cults dedicated to you have risen and fallen without you even being aware of their existence. You are a wonder who has changed countless lives. A true hero. I'm aware you haven't felt like that. But it's just a depressive episode. You'll beat it. You're strong that way. Help me to something. Here I am, a stranger who just broke into your cottage, and you're acting like you invited me. Nothing surprises you anymore, does it? Either someone comes in desperate for your help, or they try to be the one that puts you down for good, and you just follow along no matter what. I understand completely. When you have this much time, something has to pass it. Which one am I? You have no idea. These flowers, white roses, quite common to find on gravestones, freshly cut, so they should last a good week if they stay in that vase. And in a few seconds, they're gone. Such is the destiny with all things to be created. Some by my hand directly, but the vast majority are left to the whims of fate and chaos. You look shocked. Do you not get it yet? I am the feeling crawling over every living being's shoulder. I am the fear lingering in the shadows. I am she who takes your loved ones away, she who gives you back to them, she who judges and punishes those who choose to live their lives in sin, she who rewards those who have lived long enough. I am the inevitable and unavoidable. I am the one thing that unites all mortals. I am the goddess of all death, Remorn. You know what my touch can do. Now, let's see yours. Don't bother resisting. There's nothing you can do to make me let go of your hand. If I were to do this with any other living creature, it would only take a few seconds for their skin to become bone, and in just a few more, they'd join me in the land of dead souls. But look at yours. Just as soft and warm as the day you stopped aging. It's not like I'm surprised. I've tried to speed up the process so many times, but in truth, it's pointless. It's funny. Most of the time, escaping from death is the most futile action one can attempt. But for me, it's killing you. I know you never found out why, but I did. I learned the reason for your immortality a long time ago. In fact, I'm the reason you exist the way you do. No, it wasn't me who created you. That would be too simple. No, it's... Centuries ago, Typhanus, god of all oceans, wished to court me. He offered himself so many times. He even boasted about how many gifts he constantly gave me with his waves and storms. Now, I never saw them as gifts. All those who drowned would have joined me, even if they've never stepped a single toe into the water. Death is not a contest. But he was certain that I owed him all the love I had in me. I never liked him. His ego and his behavior were all... I couldn't imagine spending so much of my eternal life with someone like him. If you had known him, you would understand. No matter how nicely or directly I rejected him, he would never try to improve himself or learn. He'd see it as a challenge he had to overcome his way. So, he did something drastic. Typhanus went to the goddess of all life and proposed an experiment. He wanted to know what would happen if she created a living being without the one thing that unites all living beings: my influence. She agreed, wanting to know how important death really was. He requested this new creation fit a certain description, the type of lover he knew I wanted to have. Everything I value in the life of a mortal. To this day, I don't know how they really did it. I've asked, but she told me the method used could not be recreated or undone. And her eyes, when she recalls it, I only see that look on regretful murderers. No matter how it was done, she and a few other deities managed to create it. A baby which could not die. And all they had to do was place it on the doorstep of an orphanage and let it grow up. Yes, that is how you came to be. You had no parents to find. There was no secret ritual or chemical in your blood. It was all so you could get my attention. And you did. Stop me if you've heard this one. You've been hired to work on a farm at the edge of a small village. It doesn't pay the best, but you get along with your coworkers and the family that runs it. Life is as fine as it needs to be for a young adult like yourself. But one night, you hear horns and screaming. There's a fire in the distance. Torches reflecting sharpened weapons, drying the blood staining them. The imperialists. They've come to kill, steal, and enslave. You rush out, trying to find people and buy time for those evacuating. Your only defense is a pitchfork you grabbed without thinking. It isn't enough. You learned that when you came face to face with a soldier. He disarms you and plunges his sword right through your lung. You stop breathing. Every sound fades as your vision gets darker. The last thing you taste is your own blood. And then you die. Or, at least, that's what should have happened. Instead, once he takes back his sword, you get up. There isn't even a hole in your shirt. You're more confused than he is. So, he stabs you through the neck this time and watches closely as your eyes shut. He releases the sword and gets covered in your blood until the neck patches itself up and you start breathing again. He calls his fellow soldier for backup. The soldier slams his axe through the back of your skull, and the sword user slices you so deep, your heart gets cut in half. But almost instantly, all your wounds heal. The axe wielder gets confused and calls over another soldier. The pair hold you down, and the sword-wielding soldier slices your head clean off, then gets one of the biggest soldiers in the army to smash your head into several pieces. At this point, most of the army watches as your head disappears from the ground and reappears on your neck. The blood, dirt, and disease all vanish. Everyone's shocked. It's like they were seeing a ghost. They didn't know this at the time, but there were actual ghosts with them. The reapers who do my bidding follow these armies, trying to gather souls as the battles rage on. They were astonished, as were the souls they were collecting. It wasn't long before one rushed to my realm and told me of this. When I watched the battle, I saw every soldier gathering, orderly and unorderly, to rip you apart and do everything in their power to finish you. It was a massacre. Tell me, how does it feel to have over 100 brutes killing you all at once?
I see.
You just went blank. You assumed this was an eternal punishment for not following the correct religion and just accepted it. By the way, we don't do that. But I digress. Your newly displayed powers had distracted the army so well that everyone in the village who was still alive managed to evacuate, and there was enough of them to catch the rebel forces' attention and seek their help. The rebels rode in and fought off the imperialists, who were all tired from trying to kill you. And so, without even harming someone, you had helped win the battle. You didn't save everyone, but you did keep the village standing. Thanks to you, it survived to grow into the city it is today. Needless to say, I became obsessed with you after watching that. Who wouldn't? I wanted to know if there was a limit. What if there was nothing left to heal from? How many times can you die? Does aging count? I had so many questions. But soon, I started watching you for different reasons. Your humbleness, the kindness you showed others, the bravery and resolve you displayed when you tried to figure out this gift, your desire to do the right thing when you joined the rebellion's leader. And I must admit, you were very fun to watch. Who gets asked, "Hey, can I use you as a training dummy tonight?" and answers, "Just don't insult yourself while slashing me this time." Such a wonderful soul. A year later, the army found its way to the main imperial castle. Taking a risk, you swam through a lake of molten lava and let the drawbridge down. You took fatal arrows and swings for as many people as you could, letting yourself be used as a shield when necessary. I had a reaper watching you. He said that you should have died 914 times that day. When the rebellion reached the Emperor, he tried to fight you all off. He lost, of course. The rebel leader offered you the killing blow. You deserved the glory for all those hardships. But you refused. You said, "If my life can't be taken, it's not fair for me to take others." You followed this principle well. Yes, some people have died as a result of your actions. That's war for you. There also would have been a lot of death if you chose not to interfere. What matters is that every chance you had to extend someone's life, you took it. That's what I liked most about you. You were just, which is something I'll never truly be. I wanted you. I'd felt empty for a while, and I thought you could save me. But after 50 years of watching your heroism, I came to a terrible conclusion. You couldn't be mine. You instinctively rejected every person who proposed to you. The rebel leader, the small town baker, the princess you saved, your friend at the farm. It would just be a reminder that everyone, no matter how close, would leave you behind. And me, I have duties. Any socialization or breaks are down in my realm, not here. No matter how much I wanted to, I couldn't just start a new life with you. It broke me inside. I was at my lowest. Then he showed up, the god of all oceans. He comforted me as I cried. He put his hand on my shoulder and spoke. The lover of your dreams is unattainable. Direct your attention to those that need to be obtained. I'm ashamed to say it almost worked. Then the goddess who created you stepped in. She learned Typhanus's true plan and felt guilty for creating such a tragic creature just so someone could manipulate me, her friend. She told me everything. Typhanus didn't even deny it. To him, this was just a point that needed to be proven. The only way I'll ever find happiness is to dismiss my duties and dreams and submit to him instead. I killed him. He wanted to be mine, so I made him mine. Today, he's still suffering in the area reserved for those who committed selfish acts of lust. He will be tormented there until he wants to find redemption, or loses himself and ceases to exist. I and the Celestial Council appointed a new deity of oceans, and they're much nicer. The seas aren't as dangerous as they used to be, and I'm glad. Isn't it funny? Even under the right circumstances, gods can die. We'll never succumb to age, but even if it takes eons, someone will find a reason to kill me and be skilled enough to do it. Maybe it'll be you. You'd never want to kill me. You can't see yourself proudly harming the very embodiment of all death. You really are too good for this world. Such a shame that you're the one person who can never leave it. I've done everything. I can't appoint you to godhood, as that only applies to dead souls. I tried every method that could kill a god, short of the apocalypse itself. nothing worked. Do you know what it's like to be the goddess of all death? You get everyone. Major philosophers, political figures, scientists, storytellers, artists, every dead soul who still has things they want to do or see or say. And even if they do reach satisfaction, many of them still choose not to fade away into the eternal rest. If there's something I want to understand, I can just find the person who invented it or perfected it. I can ask anyone anything. I can watch trials of tyrants as they break at the stands upon learning their damnation. I can watch close families reunite with love and care. I have everything, except you. I haven't felt this human in so long. When I learned that you truly can't join us, it all came back to me. That universal feeling of desire and weakness, that desperate clawing at something I can't have. You were like a golden apple, dangling just out of reach, never to be picked. Until today. Don't bother resisting those chains. They're for my reapers when someone refuses to accept their death. The strongest humans have tried to break out, and all failed. For the longest time, only the deceased could enter my realm. But something changed. A pair of travelers found a passage not too far from here that I didn't even know about. I have full, absolute control of that dimension, and I was so miserable I wasn't even paying attention to it. One of those travelers entered the passage and was terrified of what he had discovered. He caught my attention. The energy from the area, the souls, and the godly presence of my true form got to him. But I just thanked him and gave him an eternal reward, because I finally found it. You are obtainable now, and you need to be obtained. I'm going to drag you down to my domain by force. Either you're finally going to succumb to all the death around you and perish, or you'll be the only living thing in that realm. Don't worry, I'm sure you're used to sticking out. What's that look supposed to mean? Don't pretend you didn't want this. In your lifetime, the governments you've established have collapsed and reformed. People you've watched the births of are on their deathbeds now, waiting to meet me. And you don't even have a gray hair. You've been everywhere, done everything, made and lost countless amounts of friends. So many are down there. Tobias, Shinjiro, Makoto, Liana, Master Varian, Dahlia, Vanya, Evelyn, We'd be here for the rest of the night if I named them all, but they're down there, and I've spoken to them. They all miss you. In fact, some of them aren't going to feel complete and rest until they talk with you again. You were the only thing I couldn't have. I was the only thing you couldn't have. This is how it needs to be. Please, just walk with me. I hope you live. I hope you stay as you are forever. Touching souls, it's cold. But if you keep your body down there, people have told me they've longed for my sweet, warm embrace. But me, I've longed for yours. Let's complete each other. To all my patrons, thank you. And to one of my spirit guides, Derp, thank you so much. Mwah.